Hey guys, it's Ash here with WatchMojo, and these are the top 20 best anime you need to watch on Crunchyroll. For this list, we'll be looking at the shows for newcomers, casuals, or just anyone wanting to make the most of their Crunchyroll subscription. If we missed any of your favorite anime on the service, be sure to drop the recommendation in the comments below. And as always, if there's another anime list you want to see, go to my Twitter at AshJBo and let me know.
そんなんでバズるかい。
いい人系もバズりやすいから。つかバズるって言葉早速使いこなしてますね。
Number 20, To Your Eternity.
それは歩き始めた。初めて感じる風の冷たさや雪の匂いを覚えながら。
Much like its mystifying main character, it's deceptively easy to overlook this quiet show. But given the chance, it can grow into something truly special. It follows the mesmerizing tale of a being named Fushi, who's evolving physically and emotionally on their path to self-enlightenment. That's really all we can say without giving too much away, and this is a show best experienced with no prior knowledge of its dense themes. What we can divulge is that it teeters on the beautifully thin line between heartfelt and heartbreaking as it explores what it means to be human. And just as novel, how easy it is to lose that humanity. Number 19, My Dress-Up Darling.
なれるよ。五条くんなら絶対なれるよ。
ありがとうございます。
All you need to know about this delightful slice of life is that Gojo likes sewing, Kitagawa is a cosplayer, and love is in the air. The result is a refreshing rom-com with more heart than it knows what to do with. It seamlessly tackles gender norms with good-spirited storylines that respect its characters' passions without ever making fun of them for it.
はいこれ。
お、
美味しいよ。
お、すいません。ありがとうございます。
お邪魔します。
The saccharine humor and earnest cast make it nearly impossible to make it through an episode without getting all warm and fuzzy on the inside. Even if romance isn't your usual go-to genre, this show is charming enough to make you a believer.
私、服脱げそう。
なんですって。
Number 18, Tokyo Revengers.
なんだこのダッセーヤンキーは。俺だ。中学生の俺だ。ダサすぎる。
Takemichi is moments away from becoming a skid mark on the railway when he suddenly flashes 12 years into the past. From there, he alters fate itself until the present he returns to looks completely different. Basically, it's gang wars with time travel, and yeah, it's as cool as it sounds. The intricate narrative and fistica fight scenes are completed by themes of regret, youth, and personal growth.
僕に協力してください。君なら姉さんを救える。俺が橘を。
The show really finds its footing not through time travel shenanigans, but its portrayal of normal people overcoming struggles that they never thought possible. By the time the credits roll, it'll have your fist bumping the air right alongside Takemichi.
俺が全員。ぶっ飛ば。
Number 17, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. With all the ingredients to make a bona fide smash hit, it's maddening that this fantasy adaptation is criminally underrated. Based upon the uber-popular gaming franchise, Dai is slated to animate the entirety of the original manga, and it's doing so with plenty of flair. Impressively, the excellent production values haven't wavered once through its near weekly release schedule.
それでは試合開始です
Even for those unfamiliar with the franchise, this show is consistently entertaining in a way few long-runners manage to be. Its streamlined lore and flashy combat make it a remarkable entry point for new fans, meaning there's really no excuse to not check it out. Number 16, Spy Family.
何にでも首を突っ込んでしまうのは短所とも言えますが、とても賢い子です。
賢いこれが
An assassin, a mind reader, and a spy walked into a pretend house, and somehow an internet-breaking hit walked out. Though we doubt you need to hear that from us, you'd have to be deep undercover to have not gotten the debrief on the hilarious exploits of this ragtag trio. The hype is well-deserved, since the show expertly captures the zany thrills of espionage stories without forfeiting the gooey center of its found family.
Wow.
It's got everything you'd want from an anime: action, humor, heart, and Anya. Really, that last one is worth the price of admission alone. Now, if only these three would be a bit more forthcoming with their actual identities.
おい、どこ見てんの？ビビったのか？
Number 15, My Hero Academia. Even wannabe superheroes need to go to school. It's a good thing hands-on experience is the best way to learn, since the prestigious UA has a habit of being besieged by villains. Deku's inspiring determination to be a hero push him under the tutelage of a pro-hero and personal idol, All Might.
君はヒーローになれる
Though he quickly realizes that with great power comes great responsibility to save his classmates from bloodthirsty enemies. The show's expert balance of school life hijinks, dramatic conflicts, and quirky characters has kept it fresh for over 100 episodes, with no sign of slowing down anytime soon. In fact, it's only continued to smash those expectations.
だから僕が勝つ！君も超えて！
Number 14, Mob Psycho 100. At the end of the day, Shigeo Kageyama is a pretty normal middle school boy, albeit one with a very odd extracurricular activity. Oh, and he could probably blow up the planet if he wanted to. The stunning animation sells the sheer scale of Mob's power, but because of that, there's no real question if he'll win a fight. Instead, the tension comes from how the victory will affect his personal journey towards self-confidence.
僕の師匠の正体は。いいやつだ。
It's especially hard since he works for a fake psychic masquerading as an expert, but even without proper training, Mob seems to be doing fine on his own.
ごめん。
Number 13, that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
アホか！認められるか！でもスライムだよな。
A random salaryman was having a rough day even before he got stabbed. Good news, he was reincarnated in a fantasy world. Bad news, it was as a slime. While far from his ideal outcome, at least the new body helps the freshly named Rimuru become flexible in more ways than one. The show's off-kilter tone works because it acknowledges that its concept is pretty weird.
ユニークスキル、捕食者を使用しますか？
Yes!
But while Rimuru's penchant for ticking off thugs is always a delight, the show isn't without its fair share of drama and pathos. You'll be surprised that this show doesn't just make you care about a sentient blob, but also a cast of even weirder characters. Number 12, Dr. Stone. Set thousands of years after most of humanity is inexplicably turned to rock, young genius Senku spontaneously wakes up and vows to cure the world. But not with power-up screams or magical blasts. Instead, the show sets itself apart with a focus on scientific mythos. Senku's experimental mind would sooner craft weapons than cast spells, which livens up the familiar plot beats into something surprisingly educational. Plus, since the show's been praised for its scientific accuracy, it can even double as homework. The innovative approach has helped it carve out a niche in the crowded market, and so far the stones haven't cracked under the pressure. Number 11, Ranking of Kings. In the face of constant ridicule, prejudice, and even the occasional fight, Boji is determined to prove they're worthy to rule the kingdom. Though, heads up, you may want to grab a box of tissues if you plan on following his earnest exploits. The medieval setup is just a frame to explore how a young deaf boy can warm even the coldest of hearts, including a former thief, Kage. The exhilarating action sequences are second to the inspiring tale of Boji proving everyone, including himself, wrong. After all, he may be small in stature, but he's got a heart bigger than anyone in the whole kingdom. Number 10, Odd Taxi.
じゃあ3回言ってみるブルース・スプリングスティーン。
ブルース・スプリングスティーン、ブルース・スプリングスティーン。
言えてねえから。
言えてた。
When you hail a ride from this series, you get driven through a remarkably deep character study that passes through a twisted tunnel of mysteries. Orokawa is a walrus who drives a taxi, just roll with it, but his closed-off demeanor makes him the prime suspect in a missing girl case.
乗せたんだよ。寝れ間の女子高生。
俺が
Now on the run from police, yakuza, and social interaction, Orokawa leaves the meter running through an unforgettable ride. Along the way, his eclectic clientele may even manage to find the warm hearts beneath his blubber. As the plot deepens, you won't care where Orokawa's taxi is taking you as long as you're there for the ride.
どちらも
Number 9, Jujutsu Kaisen.
俺に磁力があればいいんだろ不思議だやめろ両面少なの指
On principle, eating the finger of an all-powerful cursed spirit is usually frowned upon. In Yuji's defense, it earned him a spot as a jujutsu sorcerer, at least until his school board decides he and the evil Sukuna are better off dead. The show's horror aesthetic sets it apart from its contemporaries with an unflinching brutality, but there's a lot more to love underneath the cursed energy too. These slick production values highlight cool characters doing cool attacks against even cooler looking monsters. Did we mention it's funny too? Jujutsu Kaisen seemingly takes the best parts of battle shonen and turns them into a show that's well worth special grade status and beyond. Number 8, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. Don't let appearances fool you, this kid has all the knowledge of a grown adult, and even some magical prowess thrown in just for good measure. After sacrificing himself to save a group of teens from a speeding vehicle, Rudius wakes up as a child in a fantasy world. Since all his memories are left intact, he sets out on a journey to find the meaning in his life that he lacked in his previous one. Despite the swords and sorcery, there's a surprisingly tender touch to Rudius's quest, especially since it involves potentially finding true love. Of course, there's plenty of action, drama, and intrigue, but the show's never content resting on those laurels for long. Number 7, Hajime no Ippo.
Here I go.
Nothing will take a swing at your watch list quite like this influential sports anime. Aging like fine wine, Ippo has put his dukes up against countless enemies across 3 seasons and over 100 episodes. Each round in the ring comes with a right hook of excellent hand-to-hand choreography, a quick jab of character development, and finishes off with an uppercut of excitement. It's one of the pinnacles of the subgenre and proved that you don't have to be a die-hard sports fan to enjoy watching beefcakes let loose in the ring. As long as Ippo doesn't tire of strapping on the gloves, neither will we. Number 6, Kaguya-sama Love is War.
あなたが明日死ぬとしても私はもう助けてあげません。
なんだ、篠宮のあの軽蔑しきった目は。
They say love is a battlefield, but these defiant student council reps take that idea to the extreme. In his hilarious deconstruction of rom-com tropes, Kaguya and Miyuki are too stubborn to admit their obvious feelings for each other. Instead, they develop elaborate schemes and cheeky gags to force the other's declaration. It's a fresh spin on the slice-of-life cliches that imbues the hijinks with an irresistible wit and originality.
私、会長にどうしても言いたいことがあるんです。会長、花火の日、言わなくちゃ。ありがとうって。
The charming situational comedy and low-stakes storyline make it one of the easiest shows to unwind with after a long day. Who needs a happily ever after when the will they won't they is already this adorable?
いかがしましたか？早坂、アクシデントが発生したわ。会長が肩に。
Number 5, Attack on Titan. Unless you've been living under the colossal titan, there's a good chance these behemoths have already stomped through your screen in a rapid binge. If not, where have you been the last decade? Few shows have ever breached mainstream popularity as much as Attack on Titan, and it's in no small part thanks to its breathtaking action scenes, sprawling world, and insane plot twists. Once you start, the dramatic cliffhangers will keep you scrambling to hit play next faster than humanity fell to the Titans. With the final act on the near horizon, there's never been a better time to enroll in the Survey Corps. Number 4, Hunter x Hunter. Armed with nothing more than a fishing pole, some friends, and plenty of spirits, Gon sets off to follow in his father's footsteps as a hunter. Naturally, it's a bit easier said than done, but Gon isn't one to give up easily, or really at all. Rest assured, he'll need that unshakable optimism. The show begins lighthearted enough, but it slowly darkens into some of the most impactful and memorable story arcs in all of anime. Alongside a fully realized world and characters bursting with life, it's clear that you don't need to hunt for your next watch. This is it. Number 3, Cowboy Bebop. Part spaghetti western, part space opera, and part action fest, there may never be a show quite like this. The seamless blend of tones, styles, and influences creates a product that's never content with being ordinary. Each episode is an emotional wallop of storytelling, and that's not even considering the sublime gung fu or deeply moving characters.
You trust your eyes too much, Asimov. You're not a chameleon, you know. You can't see everywhere at once.
But perhaps Cowboy Bebop's most impressive feat is that its legacy as one of the all-time greats has continued over 20 years later. With that kind of glowing status, the only real folk blues here are for those who haven't experienced this iconic show in all its glory. Number 2, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. To call this series legendary is putting it lightly. The tragic tale of two brothers enduring the consequences of a botched resurrection has become synonymous with excellent anime for a good reason. The pure spectacle of its flashy set pieces are set against a morally complex story that's still accessible to a wide audience. Its deep messages are presented through bombastic fights, heartfelt characters, and a riveting overarching narrative.
そうかそういうことか鋼の錬金術師貴様やらかしおったな
Like Edward Elric, Brotherhood is so much more than the sum of its parts, and it uses transfiguration to grow into something undeniably special. Even if you've already seen it, this is your official sign to do a rewatch. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, One Piece.
お前を守ってくれる仲間が現れる
Admittedly, there's a lot of ocean to cover when you set sail with Luffy, but once you start riding the waves, it'll pass in a sea breeze. Its enduring legacy in the ever-shifting anime landscape is a testament to how well the expansive world works for telling stories with the Straw Hats.
やりやがったあいつら旗への攻撃の意味が分かってんのか海賊たちが世界政府に宣戦布告しやがった
Despite having more episodes than every other show on this list combined, it's still somehow producing epic moments to this day. Against all odds, it only gets better too, meaning there's always something to look forward to. Though if you want to catch up anytime soon, you may want to get started. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.